through 3 hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
All right, the show that comes after the other show is called the After Show. Aren't we clever?
Creative.
Makes sense.
All right, we've got Jim Kinsey, got Tom Hennig with us today. Hello, Tom, the not Michelle.
Not
Tom.
Michelle.
That's great.
I've had worse nicknames.
I love when people call
Do
in.
tell.
Yeah, you're not Michelle. Really? I'm not?
He said, well, I thought I was.
Huh.
So strange.
If I
All right,
identify
so as
Michelle,
we're getting ready to go on the air today, Jim and I are talking about your pistol, and you have a new accoutrement.
I have a
For your
new
pistol.
accoutrement. Yes, I do. My P365 now is equipped with the 422 Crimson Trace Green Laser.
Tracer laser.
Tracer laser. Crimson Trace
Sure,
422.
easy for you to say.
But, it's really complicated to put on there. It took me 2 minutes maybe. Maybe 4 minutes, including calibrating the laser. Maybe 4 minutes.
Okay, so you got the new Crimson Trace laser. This is the green laser, right?
Yes. Do you mind if I just go for a while? It's really cool.
and I'm watching him
really
calibrate this thing and thinking, oh, okay, there's going to be a few holes in the roof.
No.
No.
Follow safety.
Yeah. So and you were asking me, so describe to people how you get it set up. Because when you attach the laser to the pistol, clearly you would be just lucky if it were lined up correctly. You still have to
Sure.
sight it in. But with a laser, you don't actually have to shoot it to sight it in.
Oh, yeah. This is great. And this is the way I sighted on a couple of the other ones. I have a Bodyguard has a similar setup, and I did that. And Crimson Trace has made it really simple. Basically, you set the pistol, or you can set it down, you can hold it in your hand, whatever. You line up your sights, you get your normal, regular sight picture, and you see where the laser is in regard to that, and then you just dial either windage or elevation to compensate to line it up. And I thought I had it where I wanted it, but that's what I asked you the question. You confirmed it. So the laser, you really don't see the laser when you're using your iron sights. If you need to,
that's
if
the
you
way I
need to,
like
yeah. If you need to, you can always, raise your head a tad and see it. But that way, that the laser's going where the iron sights are going. Obviously, I will confirm that with high projectile lead to verify it.
Go shoot it.
Yes.
And all you're doing, you're literally aiming your unloaded gun at a target, a wall, a doorknob, or something, and you just line the sights up on it, and and while you're holding it, you can turn the little Allen wrench, and you're moving the dot on the wall, the laser dot, up, and down, left and right, until it's where you want it. And, okay, so why do I prefer to have the laser dot not visible when I'm using my iron sights? Here's my thought process, is I want to use my iron sights as my primary because they're always on there. And so if I came up and my iron sights, if I can see them well, I'm just going to use those and shoot. And I don't want the laser appearing and now I'm having to make a choice. You don't want to, in a high-speed situation, have to make a choice between one set of sights and a sighting system.
Sure.
But if you drew your gun out, or if you had in your home, you pull your gun out and you can't see the sights because it's too dark, what you're going to do the old gopher routine. Your head's going to pop up. You're going to go, what happened there? Well, when you lift your head up slightly, the red dot that was actually behind the front sight, that's why you couldn't see it. Now you can see it, red or green dot on target, bullet goes to dot. Good to go.
Yep. Very cool. And a guy was talking about a mall situation with an active. I prefer the term active killer because I'm an active shooter. I shoot all the time. So I prefer the term active killer. But you've got an active killer in a mall or whatever. Obviously, egress is the thing what you want to do. But if you're taking cover, concealment and cover, preferably, a laser sure would come in handy to just kind of poke your eye out around the corner and put the laser on the guy or gal. And you don't have to have it. You don't have to have your elbow locked out and proper stance. It could come in real handy for something like that.
Yeah. You just have to be able to put a good trigger press on it to get the shot off. And actually, it's an interesting thing. A laser on a mid to small size carry gun makes it exceptionally more accurate in terms of real world accuracy.
Right.
Because the gun itself is accurate. Even like the little bitty Ruger LCPs are crazy accurate if you put them in a vise. But they're difficult to shoot well. And that's mainly because of the sighting system. It's just a little bit nothing sights, a little short sight radius.
It's kind of tough to find a holster that'll accommodate a vise.
There you go.
You know, it's just cumbersome.
We've done the deal of taking LCP at 25 or even 50 yards.
Wow.
And using a laser in low light situations, shooting at steel, you can ding it every time at 50 yards. Shooting from the hip, basically just hold two hands down at your belt buckle, put the laser on it, and just put a good trigger press on it. Well, go back to your situation you're talking about, a crowded situation, or for whatever reason. There's a bad guy out there, and you have to make the exceptionally rare, almost unthinkable 35 to 50 yard shot. If you have practiced, if you have worked with it, you could make that shot. And I would offer that you probably could make it better with a laser at 50 yards than you would with iron sights.
Absolutely. I'm going to start practicing with that because I haven't, I've practiced with my laser gun, but not with my laser gun. Something.
All right, Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers, exactly, as I think it. I've practiced, but I've just practiced conventional stance and shooting. I haven't done any, rolling on the ground, elbow bent, tucking around a corner. But that's going to change right now.
Okay, I got a drill for you to do because it's really interesting to do.
Okay.
We'll do it with the laser on and with the laser off. Probably 7 to 10 yards.
Okay.
And what you're going to be doing is moving laterally from the, one side of that, move to the left and move to the right, and move pretty quickly. Try shooting a target, and it could be either multiple targets or one target. Use the iron sights, and then do it with the laser. But when you do it with the laser, like if you're moving to your left, you shoot right-handed, don't you?
Yes, usually.
Okay. Shoot one-handed. Just stick the gun out there and put the laser on the target and press the trigger while you're moving. And try to do that using the iron sights. Yeah. It's difficult. But with the laser, it's not that tough. And that's a real-world self-defense situation. That's a really good drill.
Okay. All right, I'll be right back.
Oh, cool.
Try that right now. Dim the studio lights and we're good.
Now you're driving envy on the part of Tom over there. So has he been like waving this laser around the studio now?
No, he's been smartly standing behind me the entire time.
Good man. Man.
He's no dummy.
He's no dummy. So yeah, it's slick. Oh, holsters. You were asking about holsters. What'd you figure out?
Well, I haven't yet because I had to work today. I had to do gun talk. God,
it gets in the way.
Troublesome that is. I'd been sniffing around a little bit about holsters, but I said I'll wait till I get the thing and see if the holster I have will accommodate, and it kind of does, but I want something better. I just have a pouch pocket thing I use now. I want a real holster.
Oh, okay.
For this.
Yeah, you want to get like a real holster.
Yeah, all my other guns
I'm going to see if this. I'm looking at support company. I went to the Crimson Trace website. Oh. I wonder, I think they have holsters. I think they actually sell holsters directly off the Crimson Trace website.
For their products married with whatever.
Well, yes, because the whole idea is people say, well, I'd love to put one of your lasers on, but, nobody's making a holster for my particular gun with your laser on it. And so I think what they're doing is working with holster companies and that way making sure that there are holsters available for that. So I'm kind of poking around their website.
Isn't capitalism cool?
Oh yeah.
No, we don't have what you need yet. But thanks for the idea.
Yeah, but we're going to make sure that what they don't want is for that to be an obstacle for
an objection. Right? Yeah. I would have bought it if it wasn't for that, right?
Exactly right. But I think if you, and I'm just poking around, I may not have time to do it right now, but I think if you go poke around the Crimson Trace website, you will find a link to holsters. And then you can say, okay, I got a P365 with this laser. And they go, yeah, this holster will work for it. Good to go.
Okay. Well, I'll go do that right now.
Pretty slick. Okay, well, you do that, and we'll come back in just a minute.
Whether Whether you carry it on your hip or in your hands, when it's from Springfield Armory, your gun is a part of the legendary line, the great 1911 pistols, the innovative XD, XDM, and XDS pistols for competition and defense, the new 911 carry pistol, guns you can count on. Shooters everywhere rave about the Saint pistols and rifles, and of course, the mighty M1A battle rifle. Check out the latest at springfield-armory.com.
The next big thing for the AR-15 has arrived. The Brownells BRN 180 Upper. A modernized version of the Armalite AR-180. Featuring a 16-inch barrel, a 223 wild chamber, and a full-length pick rail. The BRN 180 skips the buffer system to allow complete function of the firearm with the stock folded or extended. Best of all, the Brownells BRN 180 mounts to any mil-spec AR lower. Visit brownells.com today.
All right, so Jim's been shopping online during the break. Found yourself a holster, actually several.
Yeah, they do have some holsters on the Crimson Trace site, as well as, I did a little sniffing because that was a longer break than I anticipated. Crossbreed's got a couple, Super Tuck's got a couple, so people are getting on board. And, you know, that had to happen because it is the gun of the year. A couple of years running, it
Yes.
seems like, you know.
Oh, you said you just got the 15-round mags, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I haven't married those two together yet, but...
You haven't tried it yet?
No,
Okay.
I mean, I put it in and held it, but I wouldn't use it as my primary carry. I would use it as one of my multiple backup magazines, only because the 12... I got big mitts, and the 12...
Right.
Well, I mean, stock is 10, but the 12 is perfect for me. It just works. But I would like to have more capacity when possible, and it does, like you said, does make concealing it a little bit awkward. It's just funny, the stuff we nitpick over. You know, a couple of years ago, it was like, I had a full-size 1911. That's a little awkward, but no big deal. I can accommodate. And now it's getting nitpicky. Oh, this is 100 millimeters. Just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
We're spoiled.
It's always but what have you done for me lately?
Right.
Yeah. Yes,
So,
it's a wonderful pistol, but, you know, if you would make this in a 17-round or a 14, I know you've got a 12 and a 15, but I really would like to have a 13-round magazine.
right.
Okay. All right, what we do is you get the 15 and then download it by 2.
Or 2 snap
And
caps.
you'd be right there.
Just throw them in at random, you know.
That's right, yeah, surprise. Speaking of that, Tom, you'll love this. I just was looking at a video. Dave Spalding linked to it. We've had Dave on the show before. And it's an actual body cam video of a couple of officers involved in this shooting. It's a suicide by cop deal, but this guy is shooting at him. I mean, so he's not like screwing around. And this cop has a stage 3 malfunction. It's like a double feed, ugly malfunction with his pistol in the middle of this gunfight. And he does a really fast malfunction drill, you know, rips the mag out, racks the slide, gets it back in there, gets it going again, and is back in the fight. And you're watching it from this chest-mounted body cam, and you're going, whoa, that was pretty good there, guy.
Nah, nobody needs training. It's so overrated. It could never be a life or death
I'm gonna have to
situation.
find that. Yeah.
And nobody wants to do these malfunction drills. You just want to go out and put holes in paper. And you have to have some dummy rounds. And you have to work with a buddy when you're doing training to do like a double feed. One of the ways, all right, here, let me explain what a double feed is. If you had a round in the chamber, and then the slide worked and the round didn't come out and it grabbed another round from the magazine and tried to shove that in. So now you got one round shoving against the one that's already in the chamber. All right, so when you press the trigger, nothing happens. It's just kind of squishy. So, and if you do a tap rack, right, which would clear most rounds issues, that's not going to clear it because that will kick out the second round, the one that's lined up behind the one that's in the chamber, and it would then feed a fresh one on top of that. So now you still have a double feed.
Same problem, yeah.
Same problem. So you got to take out the magazine, hold it like in your pinky against your pistol, the hand that's holding the pistol, and then with your other hand, rack the slide 2 or 3 times, and it rips out the round that's in the chamber. Reinsert the magazine, rack the slide, and now you have reloaded the gun. And the only way you can duplicate that in training is you can set it up, but it's best if you have a buddy working with you who you look downrange, he or she hands you the pistol, and you know there's a malfunction there, but you don't know which one it is. Mm-hmm. And maybe the gun will go off, maybe the gun won't go off, maybe it's a stove pipe kind of a stack, a malfunction. Mm-hmm. You bring the gun up, it goes click, you do a tap rack, and if it works, then you shoot, bang, bang. Or if you do a tap rack and it's this stage 3 malfunction, now you got to go through rip the mag out, rack the slide, put the bags back in, rack the slide, get back into it. But you can't really set those up for yourself because what you're trying to do is get the surprise element of what just happened and what's my reaction to it. Mm-hmm. That's a fun afternoon of training.
Now, in that kind of drill, do they also work on, hey, you just had a malfunction, get under better cover than you were. So you're not just standing there.
Point. Why somebody says, if you're standing in a doorway with the light behind you, you look like an angel, and you may soon be one.
Good point.
If you could be moving, you can do all this stuff while you're moving. You can do a tap rack while you're moving. Now, in classes, they don't have you do that because you've got 12 people on the line.
Safety issue, yeah.
And you can't have them all running around at the same time. But when you're out there by yourself, what you want to do is program yourself to get moving, get off the X every time.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's an excellent point. Fine, and get behind cover, but, go ahead and try to get it fixed while you're moving because
time is of the essence,
If you do a tap rack and you've taken even just one step, you're back in the fight and you've got a gun that's working. Why wouldn't you?
Right. Makes sense.
But that's where the dummy rounds are so useful because you can do that even by yourself. You put a couple of dummy rounds in that pistol, it's going bang, 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 click.
Now, was Joe Biden credited with inventing those?
The dummy round? Yeah. Joe is the dummy round. Mister, we should pattern our gun policy off of fictional characters. We'll have James Bond-like technology in our guns, really. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to be able to send a gun, using the transporter room.
Right.
I like this. Just beam it to where it needs to go.
You could beam ammo to California. It's not shipping. It's not technically shipping.
I'd like to beam some California politicians somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
is Jerry Moonbeam, speaking of beam, is Jerry Moonbeam still around?
Moonbeam. Somewhere. Okay. Yeah, Gavin Newsom is the governor now. What a piece of work he is. Holy cow. What a mess. They're just completely off the rails on that. Well, Tom, what have you been carrying? You been shooting at all?
Yeah, the last time I actually got a chance to shoot was Memorial Day weekend when I was on my own property and I had a nice sandy hill as a backdrop and no issues with being inside a city limit or anything.
Right.
And I was just trying to correct an issue I had with finger placement and accuracy. This week, though, I did something else to protect myself. And that is I bought a membership to the USCCA.
Yeah, right, boy.
All right. Good deal.
That'll be cool.
That's a good move.
Yeah.
Well, with that, you will, they have insurance policies you can do. USCCA is essentially an insurance company. At its core, that's what it is.
Right.
It does some gun rights stuff, but that's okay, as long as you understand that going in. But you'll also start getting some information. You'll get the magazine, and it kind of recharges your batteries each time you get it, and you're reading these articles and making the commitment to get more involved in your own training and your mindset. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, the insurance was the main drive because I won't bore you with details, but recently had to retain a lawyer to try and get some personal property back. And, of course, my mind goes to worst-case scenario things, like what if this guy says, he threatened me with a gun? The fact that I have maybe more than one gun in my house is reason enough for them to put me in handcuffs, based on that accusation. So,
and it's an interesting thought. We're all subject to somebody making a false accusation, which kind of spins me all the way back to that weird call we got from the guy who had a buddy of his keeping some of his guns.
Yeah.
His buddy dies,
That
and
sucks.
the dead man's brother sold all the guns, and this guy lost his guns. And now people are thinking, well, why would you have your guns at somebody else's house? I've actually heard people say, look, you ought to have a couple of your guns stored at a buddy's house. For this thing that you were just talking about, Tom, somebody makes a wild accusation against you. The police come and take all your guns. Now you have nothing with which you can protect yourself.
Right.
If you had one or two at a buddy's house on permanent loan storage, whatever it is, then you could go get that, particularly if you're in the middle of a really ugly situation, which it would have to be for that to happen in the first place. So,
Right.
I don't know.
Obviously,
Just
there's a
where my
legal
brain was
thing. If
going.
there's a restraining order or something that says you can't have any firearms,
True.
that's different.
True. But sometimes, they just take them.
Yeah. And that's
It's
that's
weird,
without
yeah.
red flag laws. Add that into it.
Yeah.
Factor that in. And
Jeez, yeah.
That's true.
he looked
That's
at me
true. That's
sideways.
another
Take
issue.
his guns.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, it's weird. There's weird stuff going on out there. So interesting. Well, good for you, Tom, for thinking that through. I would offer that if you're not able, and anybody, if you're not able to get out and shoot as much as you like, and none of us are, right? The dry firing is a really good technique.
Dry firing. Yeah, we talked about that earlier today.
It's so helpful. If you get serious about it, there's a gun called a SIRT, S-I-R-T.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a laser trainer gun. They're not inexpensive. I mean, I want to say they're a couple $100, but they have a good trigger pull, and the directions are all in there. But most of the trainers I know, serious trainers, have SIRT guns and use them for part of their training. And it's all about trigger prep and follow through and making sure the laser dot when it appears is not moving, that it's staying where it's supposed to be. And you go, okay, I know it's kind of expensive for a laser trainer, but at the same time you go, yeah, but if I were actually getting to the range, I'd be spending a lot of money on ammo. So, maybe this actually saves some money.
Yeah, that's true. And you don't need to buy a suppressor for it.
But I bet you
Try
I
to
could
get out
find
of the
someone to
habit
sell you one.
try to get out of the habit of yelling bang every time you pull the trigger on that.
Nice. Well, hey, when we
If you
get
do
back,
that on the street, that's just weird.
yeah. When we get back from this break, could you just recap for folks? Because I remember in my early gun days, I was always told, never dry fire. Oh my God, you'll destroy your gun. And that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So maybe you could go over old school versus new school, and if there's any exclusions to that currently that you should avoid.
Will do. It'll be Dry Fire 101.
Cool.
Whether you are a first-timer or seasoned shooter, Double Star has the guns, edged weapons, and parts you desire. Our products are made in America and held to the highest quality standards. No exceptions. Double Star and Ace Limited manufactures products people bet their lives on without hesitation. That awesome responsibility motivates the Double Star family, and it will proudly protect yours. When you're ready for the best, join our family at star15.com. That's star15.com.
Hi, this is Ryan Gresham with Gun Talk. Visit guntalk.com/win to enter our latest giveaway. This month, it's the Springfield Armory St. Victor rifle in .308. The St. Victor is a lightweight AR-10 weighing in at just 7.8 pounds and features a 16-inch barrel, M-LOK free float handguard, and flip-up sights. Enter now through June 28th at guntalk.com/win.
All right, dry fire. Let's talk about that. It's a very short course, this Dry Fire 101. It's okay to do it. You should do it. Okay, end of lesson.
Great.
With a possible warning that maybe some 22 rimfires you don't dry fire, but pretty much any center fire you can dry fire. I like dry firing rifles as well. I mean, I think you get the practice of shouldering the gun, get the scope on target, press the trigger, work the bolt if it's a bolt gun, that type of thing.
So
also,
what
just drop
was
it
it
down into a shooting position?
What was it before? Was it BS, or there were several guns that didn't?
Yes, it's always been BS.
Okay.
It's in aviation we call it hanger flying. There's always some hanger rats that come up with these weird ideas of
Hanger
you
flying.
don't run your engine that way. You don't do that. Hanger flying. When your people are just talking in the hangar, they're shooting the breeze.
Gotcha.
Well, you get the same thing in gun clubs and gun stores. Oh, yeah, well, you're never supposed to do that. Well, I was always told, or my instructor told me, and you're going, yeah, that's all great. But no, there's without an exception, every competitive shooter I know dry fires, without exception.
Okay.
And they wouldn't be doing it if they were tearing up their guns.
Even though they get
the value is huge.
Sponsor. Right. So what was it? Was it rim fire? Just it hits the inside of the
rim fire. Because the firing pin is over on the side, I guess it could actually hit the
case of the
maybe hit the edge of the barrel of the chamber.
Breech, yeah.
I don't know, and so conceivably could break a firing pin. I guess it's what I've always heard. I've never heard of it actually happening. Okay. So that may be simply a continuation of the old wives' tale. I just don't know.
So it's good to go.
Yeah, dry fire. It's good.
Dry fire is
shooting
your friend.
Is better. Yeah, shooting is better because when you shoot, you're not just working on hitting the target. You're working on recoil management, and I think not nearly enough people work on that technique. They're thinking about trigger press and all the rest of it. Great. But if you grip it harder, if you lean into it, if you extend with a handgun, for instance, if you extend your thumbs out as long as stretch them like toward the target as far as they can go, pointing straight at the target, that will actually turn your wrists down a little bit, and it makes a huge difference in being able to manage the recoil and get back on target quickly.
Okay. It's just physics at that point.
It's physics. Well, I tell you what, like right now, stick your hand out like if it was going to be a one-handed pistol shot, but stick your thumb straight up in the air. Now, take that thumb and point it forward at the target.
Rolls your elbow and
start turning your wrist down just a little bit like you're pointing the gun down. You'll start to feel some tension in your forearm.
Right.
Now, if you took both hands, make a shooting grip with both hands, take both thumbs, and then roll both thumbs forward so they're pointing at the target, you can feel the tops of your forearms starting to tighten up when you do that. And now when you're pressing the trigger, instead of the muzzle coming up, it comes straight back, and you're so much quicker on target when you do that.
Now, it's also kind of like bowling, isn't it, where if you just drop the ball at the foul line, you may or may not hit the pins, but if you follow through, the ball's already out of your hand, but you follow through. Golf, same thing. You've hit the ball, but your follow-through does affect the shot. It's the same thing with shooting.
What the follow-through does is if you don't have a good follow-through, what happens is you actually are not making a good shot, whether it's golf or bowling or shooting. The follow-through guarantees that you actually were pressing the trigger or doing what you're supposed to do. You basically can't make a good shot without a good follow-through. So that's a really good analogy.
So it applies,
works for all of those. In fact, it's one of the things that you'll hear shooters, instructors say, you should have 2 sight pictures for every shot. So if you're going to fire one shot, you have 2 sight pictures, one before and one after. If you fire 2 shots, you have 3 sight pictures.
Right.
If you fire 3 shots, you have 4 sight pictures.
Right, because your post sight is the sight, pre-sight for the next one.
And also, you're training yourself that each shot should be in preparation for the next shot.
Right, makes sense.
You get back on target as quickly as you can. So, for each shot, there's an additional sight picture at the end of that.
Makes total sense. Perspective. It's all perspective.
There are training things you can do, but man, I'm telling you, going to an instructor, you come away with those aha moments. You're going, oh, wow, that is such a cool thing. It's like, the guy who went to the gun site, and after 2 days, he says, that's a really cool thing. He said, what's that? He says, that thing you teach about looking at the front sight, that really works.
Never thought of that one.
Unfortunately, the guy who said that was a police firearms instructor.
No.
Yes.
Oh,
well. You know what? At least he was getting some training. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Looking at the front sight is good.
I got to give a shout out to Officer Dave here at the Toledo PD. I don't know how many years ago it was. Several, more than I want to admit. Probably 30 years ago, he and I worked together in retail sales. And just, messed around with the idea of guns and how cool it'd be to go out and do some plinking in the woods. And we did a little bit of it. And we had fun, but neither one of us were gun guys now. He is, as of, I guess, a year ago. I just bumped into him. I haven't seen him in years. As of about a year ago, he is now the head, the range master for the Toledo PD. So he carried his
all right.
interest far, and now he's helping other people
Yeah.
be safe. Yeah. Way to go, Dave.
Way to go. That's right. Good deal. A big old attaboy.
Oh, yeah.
All righty. Well, all right. So here's your marching orders. You know, you got to go dry fire. You got to practice more. You got to get a laser. You got to get involved with gun rights. And God, there's hardly any time for anything else.
What else would you want to do? Is there anything
That's
else
right.
besides guns?
And it's important. It's exactly. And that's the other part of it. It's important. You know, all it can do is save your life. So if you do it right, if you do it wrong, worse things can happen. It's pretty horrible. So anyway, get out there, do some shooting, and you know, don't forget. The other part of it is don't forget that this stuff we talk about it like it's serious all the time. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'll be going out this week and ringing out the 10 millimeter a little bit more. Nice.
There should be like sound effects right now of angels. He's ringing out the 10.
So I will have a range report on the 10 millimeter next week. Okay?
Awesome. Awesome.
Cool. Sounds good. You guys have a great week.
Have fun, buddy.
Thanks, Tom.
Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk after show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out Gun Dealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk after show.